Lordy, there are tapes. The MAGA Riot Committee has receipts, not just testimony and documents, but those videotapes. The plan for the tapes is not currently clear, but they may become public. One anonymous source telling Politico, you'd have to be woefully naive if you don't think they're going to use some of the videos at the hearings. Those public hearings, at least 8 of them, are slated to start next month. Set your DVRs. One video that won't be at the hearings, an interview with Trump ally Rudy Giuliani. He bailed on a scheduled interview last week after the committee refused to let him have his own aide tape the interview.
I had my guy all ready to do my video. They were going to do their video. All I wanted was my own version of the tape. I would not use it unless they lied about me. If they lied about me, I was going to use it and take their heads off. They called yesterday and said they didn't want me to have a tape. They would do one for me.
Joining me now is Kurt Bardella, advisor to the DNC and the DCCC and the king of country music, as far as I know. Kurt, so I have a bunch of questions for you. Whenever we talk, you are always the voice of people saying, hey, the Democrats should be doing this. Hey, this is what the Republicans will be doing. This is, we know that. But I'm going to ask you up front, knowing that these hearings with these tapes are starting next month, I want you to operate like a producer. You are a movie producer. How would you lay out next month's hearings? Who's your star? What's the big climax you're going to have? What's the scene that's going to have everybody crying at the end? As producer Kurt of next month's hearings, how would you lay it out?
Well, Jason, I think that really the most effective way to talk about this in the course of a congressional hearing is chronologically. You take everybody through literally minute by minute what was going on, what they were doing, what people in the White House were doing. We know that this committee has garnered an amazing array of testimony from people who were there, who were in the room. And I'm not talking about the Steve Bannons or Mark Meadows. I'm talking about the people that they rely on, the aides, the assistants, the people who got directives. We all know that people like Mark Meadows and Steve Bannon and anyone in the upper echelon of the White House, they need this whole cast of what they would call minions to get things done. That's who they rely on. That's who they trust. And that's who's been talking to this committee. That's how this committee's been able to construct a minute-by-minute accounting of what's happened because they've gotten it from those people. They don't need Steve Bannon. They don't need Mark Meadows per se. And so I think the most effective way to convey to the American people what happened is to do it chronologically and take them literally minute by minute, use footage, use emails, use testimony, use all the tools that you have at your disposal to tell that story.
So I'm also thinking, and we talk about this all the time, I see your tweets, I see other people tweeting about this, there's some terrible moment with the Republicans, and our immediate reaction is like, oh my gosh, that should be an ad. Oh my gosh, that's the only commercial that you're going to need. Should the Democratic Party, and I know you're talking to the DCCC on a regular basis, should they have a rapid response team right there during the entire hearings, cutting clips the moment they come out and sending them online for vulnerable Democrats? Or should they sit around and wait for people to take it to a studio and produce it afterwards? Because I'm thinking there should be a rapid response, videos being sent out after every single night of the hearing.
Listen, I think that every single person in Democratic politics that has the means and knowledge and ability to do so should be putting together rapid response in real time, because that's frankly what the Republicans would do. And we talked earlier as you introduced this segment, me being a former Republican, talking about this is what Republicans would do to Democrats if the situation were reversed. Well, they would have a rapid response tsunami that would blanket everything, highlighting every single minute, every single testimony, every single soundbite, every single piece of evidence. And I think Democrats would be wise to replicate that as well.
So going forward, there are certain kinds of Republicans that I think are just kind of true believers. You've got your Marjorie Taylor Greenes, you've got your Madison Cawthorns, and then you have the other kind of Republicans who I always believe actually know better. And they're just kind of weasels who lie because they have no political spine. I'm going to play a clip from one of those. I'm going to get your thoughts about this particular individual and the role he might play after I play it.
I mean, you got a bunch of people on that committee that tried to frame the sitting president of the United States, and I'm going to trust them? I have a tape of every deposition I've ever taken with very, very honest lawyers. I'm sorry. I'm not dealing with very honest people.
Kurt, are any of these people we're dealing with honest people? Your thoughts?
That's a trick question, right, Jason? No, of course they're not. They are known serial liars. And I'll tell you, one of the things that's going to be very unique about these proceedings, that's going to be very, even from the Mueller proceedings, different from impeachment, there's not going to be the Jim Jordans, the Matt Gaetzes, the Louis Gohmerts, the Steve Kings, the clown show. They're not a part of this hearing because Kevin McCarthy made the ingenious decision not to put anybody forward that could actually defend the president. So this hearing, these proceedings, it's going to be wall-to-wall message discipline. It's going to be wall-to-wall controlled by people who believe in the purpose of this committee. There's not going to be any filibustering of witnesses. There's not going to be any random redirects talking about things that have nothing to do with the topic, like child pornography. Right. It's not going to be a repeat of what we saw during the confirmation hearings. It's going to be straightforward. It's going to be direct. It's going to be on message, and Republicans will have no way to disrupt it. And I believe that as Donald Trump is watching that, he's going to lose his mind wondering, why isn't anybody out there defending me? It was a huge tactical mistake by Kevin McCarthy.